please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for being here and those watching on TV. Very short mayor's report. Hope everybody had a good Memorial weekend. You know, about a week ago we had a pretty good storm here, and I wanted to take a moment to thank the city street crews for their quick cleanup of our streets after the storm. There were tree branches and debris on almost every street. They did a super job in getting things cleaned up. Appreciate the people that work for the city. They go all out when we need them. I attended the Memorial Day service at the cemetery. A very nice program put on by the VFW. Very disappointed that the citizens of Hermann did not show up for. Not very many people show up for that affair, and I think that. You know, if it wasn't for the veterans, the country we have wouldn't be what it is today. And I would put a call out next year, mark it on your calendar and try and attend. It's not a very long ceremony, and it's something that I think everybody should try and attend. They do a very good job. The other thing is, don't forget, the bridge by Ford will be closing June 3rd. Anticipate longer travels around town to get to where you want to go. Their tentative completion date is in August, so it's going to be a while. So bear with it. That's all I can say. Yeah. Nothing we can do about it. The good thing is when it's done, it'll be nice. Got to be positive. So, all right, city administrator report.
So our street projects are underway, as you know. Sandplant Road is completed. There is just some manhole work remaining to be done. Schieffer's Branch should have been completed today. And then Gathy, I don't know if anybody drove through there by there this afternoon. They thought they might close it this afternoon in anticipation of paving it tomorrow. So that's Gathy there between Washington and 100. And then Whitman Road will be the last. So I think that's going fairly smoothly. Natural gas rates. We are going to continue to enjoy lower than average gas rates for the June and July billing cycles, and then the rates will start moving towards a more normal range for the remainder of the summer. The wastewater department, if you saw our guys out today, they borrowed New Haven's sewer jet camera, which we're hoping to get our own if the bond passes. So while they had it, they were doing a whole lot of work. They were investigating some laterals on East 3rd Street where there have been some issues. And then they also took it out to the high school, trying to figure out why we're getting so much I&I out in that area. So they're hoping that will bring to light some issues that they can remedy. I spoke to Joey McCliney today, again, our bond counsel, and he would like to come on July 8th at 6:30 before the board meeting to host a short public meeting. So that is July 8th at 6:30. That suits you all. And I did also got information in the past couple days that the U.S. cellular tower that we went back and forth with for literally 2 years on their lease and their location and all that, they contacted us to let us know that they're going to start working up there. That's up there by the St. George Cemetery. They'll be taking down their old monopole and constructing a new one for a 5G tower. They are going to be doing prep work this week. And then they're going to start the drilling for the foundation of the tower the week of June 3rd. And I anticipate that taking a couple days. And then on the heels of that, I would say shortly after they're done, we have our own radio tower to be reconstructed in July. So we budgeted for that. We talked about that in the budget workshop. All that is remaining for that is the $10,000 for installation. And the legislative session for the state has ended. And so I wanted to just bring to your attention a couple of the things we had been talking about and how they resolved. Senate Bill 1062, that was going to exempt food from municipal sales tax, that failed. So that was going to be a huge revenue loss. Also, Senate Bill 2056 that was going to require municipalities to pay for moving infrastructure owned by cable and telephone companies when we did a street improvement. Thank goodness that failed as well. Also, something that would have affected us that failed was a 2-year wait to resubmit a tax proposal that failed to win voter approval. So that did not pass. And that personal property tax phase out that seems to get revisited every year or two, that failed as well. What did pass, there was a repeal on an antiquated statute pertaining to how municipalities select their bank depositories. I haven't looked into that very much because we're not under that requirement because we are in 3 different banks. Exempting video streaming services and satellite video providers from paying municipal video service provider fees, that did pass. And a property tax credit for seniors that freezes the assessed value on primary residence owned by taxpayers of 62 years of age and older. That passed as well, and I'm not sure how that's going to play with that Senate Bill 190 hanging out there. There was that tax credit for seniors that the counties didn't know how on earth they were going to implement. So, of course, those would have to be approved ultimately by the governor. So, to be continued on those. I think on there. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Can I ask for, has the Merrimack Regional Planning Commission started their comp plan yet? The comp plan?
Have they started working on the work comp plan?
Yeah.
I have not heard from them since our meeting.
Okay,
But they were going to leave and go back and start doing some research, and that's the last I knew.
And do you know if they're going to have enough money to, in the street fund, to do Whitman Road the entire length of it, or just part of it?
They don't-
Do you have any idea?
I don't think they intended to do the whole length of it. They were just going to do with whatever money we had left, they were going to go as far as that would take them. So I'm not sure what that is yet.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to public comments. We have the piano board regarding the outdoor seating permit.
Yes.
So, should I stay here? Yeah. Okay, so basically, I've been receiving notice from Corey regarding those 3 speakers, 2 on the 4th Street, 1 on the Market Street. I still don't understand what's the reason that, we can't have the speakers. Number 1, when I took the bar, the speakers were already there. And number 2, we're trying to not make it loud to interfere anybody's acoustic environment. So, and number 3, from my standpoint is, the people outside of the patio area enjoy the music better, they longer stay, they pay more money, and I pay more tax to the city. So we're the people, by the people, for the people, from my standpoint. So if I could get a clearance, I'd be happy.
Well, if I understand this right, according to the ordinance, when you have outdoor seating, you're not supposed to have speakers. Am I correct on that?
That is correct. Now, Justin installed those without city permission.
So,
I have no clue like that, what is going
So
on.
I think what happened is when when outdoor seating permit needed to be put in your name because you were the new owner.
Correct.
You weren't at that meeting, this board went back to the letter of the law, which says that outdoor seating permits are not allowed to have amplified music unless specially permitted. So that was unfortunate that you weren't here to defend your case. So it's really up to you guys if you want to hold him to the letter of the law, if you want to come up with a compromise.
Or any kind of,
So the Board of Aldermen cannot approve, we can't approve?
If I may, from the code, all it says is that there shall be no live entertainment or speakers placed in the permit area unless approved and properly permitted by the city. So, correct me if I'm wrong, David, that means you all have the power to approve it, if you'd like to do so. I just remember back in September when this was done with that condition that the permit be issued with the condition those are removed was due to some other extraneous complaints and things that had happened at that time.
So there have been complaints about the music being too loud. I've witnessed it myself a number of times where it's playing when the restaurant was closed.
Okay. Well, if I, come up with, you guys can come up with some kind of line rules I can follow, then I will definitely restrict it with the rules.
So it's outdoor seating, of course, is on the Market Street side. So maybe letting have a speaker on that side of the building would be a good compromise, and removing the one on the 4th Street where you guys have the competing music.
Yeah, the one on the 4th, I mean, I've noticed this a year or two ago, that, with Crown Suites with their outside music, and that one, they kind of bump,
Okay.
But so I agree with that, if you leave it on the Market Street side and keep it low key,
Okay.
I mean, I'm okay with that, but, it has to be discussion among these people here, and
We have 1 or 2 properties that have outdoor seating that we have made exception for. So, as long as it's not competing, we have the 4th Street battle of the bands. And then also too, with coming up with the Stones Winery.
yeah, songs will also have music during the day down the road here, so it,
I've noticed the 4th Street one. I've not noticed the Market Street, so I think that's fair.
Yeah, I agree.
And if Tricia's right, if it is playing during hours of not operation, that shouldn't happen. Just when you're operating,
Okay.
not after hours.
But I'm not sure that's happened when you've been under care of it, right? That was
Yeah.
more, it has, okay.
Because a lot of times I'm not here, that's why. I'll put a label on the wall to make sure they follow.
Okay.
so we need that in a form of emotional, correct?
Yeah, so if you guys want to articulate Market Street, lower volume, and not only during operational hours.
Someone want to make
I'll
that?
make a motion that we continue to allow the speakers on Market Street with the removal of the one on 4th with operation during business hours and adequate volumes.
Second it.
I have a motion and a second, and all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? There you are, sir.
Thank you. So, I didn't understand. That means I take off the one on the 4th Street, or I just disconnect it?
Disconnect's fine.
Hey, just disconnect, I mean, that's up to you, but just
As long as there's no
don't play
sound
that.
coming out of it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We will move on to other comments. Most of these are about the Seattle area. I must say, after everybody spoke last time and then the engineer followed up, sitting up here, I kind of thought that the engineer answered most of the questions that everybody was inquiring. But anyway, number 1, Lucy English.
I'm not actually here about CTAP today. I'm here about the ordinance to raise sewer service rates. Herman citizens are suffering the effects of inflation, and utilities in Herman are expensive. I'm wondering why you're voting on an ordinance to raise wastewater fees by 7%. Like other utilities, wastewater brings in significantly more revenue than it has in expenses. In 2023, the wastewater fund had more than $31,000 in revenues over expenses. At the end of the fiscal year, the net position of the wastewater fund was $1.5 million. Combined, the net position of Herman utility funds was more than $12.9 million at the end of the 2023 fiscal year. With approximately 1,000 households in Herman, that's $12,900 per household of citizens' money sitting in those funds. It would be helpful to understand why you're proposing to take more. Thank you.
You answer that for her?
Yeah, so we have a bond rate covenant that has to be observed every year. So we have to have a $1 more in revenue than we have in expenses. So we calculate that every year and keep it as absolutely low as possible, but it's all according to the bond rate covenant for the 2010 bonds. The other revenues that you're talking about, so we are required because of that bond to carry a depreciation replacement fund that sits there for emergencies. The other money in the water construction 41 account is actually the bond money itself, which can only be spent on bond wastewater projects, on infrastructure. And then there is a bond reserve account. Also, we have to keep that in case we come into a crisis and we can't pay our bond fund. That money has to sit there according to law. And the other fund money that's sitting there is the money to pay our payment. So wastewater actually runs on a pretty tight margin. So we raise the rates annually a little bit every year. This year it's going to be an average of $2.58 per month for the average residential customer. And that again is according to meet our bond rate covenant.
So was the 31,000 in revenue over expenses last year, that's above and beyond those expenses according associated with the bond, right?
31,000.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we were saving that for additional projects. Yeah, we don't want to spend down to zero every single year. We always have
Were there
more
specific
projects.
additional projects?
We always have projects and not enough money to do them.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Heidi Van Hoof.
Hi, your favorite Dutch girl here. I want to talk first about liability. Tricia, at the meeting last, you said that you have no liability, and it's true. Legally, the city does not. But you also received an email from Citizens for Hermann that in some cases you can be sued because of building permits that are made. Just a warning, it is out there. You're allowing this apartment in an inundation zone, so it is still possible to be sued, not by me, but by insurance companies. You know how it works. One insurance company sues the other. The other thing I want to do is make a really good, cool thing to Mr. Vollmer. Please. I remember how Arlene was going to have a dog park down there by the dam. I remember it. It was her idea. So my idea, and this is to Mr. Vollmer and the city, to avoid any apartments going down there in the inundation zone, which I still think is dangerous, to reconsider this expensive, this is very expensive, Mr. Vollmer, and we know this, and compromised location due to safety, to build apartments in the valley, so to not do that, to look at flat land and a safer land to build on, and it would be, of course, less expensive. And I would like to consider creating a nature trail, a park, maybe Vollmer Park or Hermann Crown Park, with a dog park, trails, playground, adding to picnic tables, benches along a walking trail. And imagine families and friends enjoying the beauty of nature and children playing, and furthermore, and this is important, the city to consider the transformative potential of connecting the nature trail to a long-needed sidewalk from Seattle and from the library all the way to town. Because I walk there and you can't, you walk on 19. So it will make it easier for people to walk to the library and to the doctor's office and any businesses down there. And together, we can forge a future where every step we take is a testament to our dedication to creating a vibrant, connected, and thriving small town. So Mr. Vollmer, consider it, please. There are tax exemptions. There is a bunch of them. I have it here in this paper. I can give it to you. And maybe the city would consider even helping with that. It's just an idea. And that's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
You'll see me again, for whatever reason.
Paul
You
Clark.
want me to get it to you? That's not, I can watch it.
See y'all again. Got the second inning of the ball game here. I'm going to do just what I did last time. I had all these notes ready and things I want to say for 3 minutes, but I'm a peacemaker, I'm a minister, and I just sense the spirit of us versus them. I want to somehow implode that. I love this town. We're newbies. We were in 3 years. Like I said last time, I have a good relationship with people I know here. We're excited about those relationships and all the people that are not here tonight that are the same way. We have had a joyful time getting to know Lisa Falmer the other night at the Hermann Crown, talking to her. She's a wonderful person. I have no ill feelings against the Falmers whatsoever. We obviously are questioning the location of this apartment wise. Last month I stated my own experience in living in California with houses going down sides of hills and mud. So we know the area pretty well. We hike it. I did just find out just a few minutes ago from Mr. Ballmer that I was trespassing. We were trespassing on the property the day for yesterday. We didn't know we were. We were walking down near the dam and walking down the waterfall. So I apologize if we were trespassing. Certainly not our intention. We've enjoyed walking trails. I'm going to just leave one short exclamation mark and skip over all my points, and I'll do that next meeting. I've been out talking to people. I come to the auction. I get around. I'm a musician. I'm a lightning rod, if you will. And what's really amazing to me is how many people I met when I told them about this project and talked about other things going in the city. And just talking, the amount of fear in this town. I'm actually in shock. Now people said, oh yeah, boy, that's a bad idea, but I want to speak up so I'll lose my job, or he's our client. Man, isn't there a way to have this communication be different than this volatile, like junior high school talk? I'm really desirous of communication going beyond the courtroom feeling here. I'm the son of an attorney, like I said last time. I was raised to be an attorney. I know that courtroom boxing, rope-a-dope, all that stuff. I just want to say I'm really concerned about the future of this town. The way it could implode with the things that are happening in our nation today. Thank you for the memorial service yesterday. I wish I could have made it. I had family communication. But I love the patriotism of this town. I love the loyalty of the people that serve here. And I have nothing ill will against any of these people. You're working hard. So I know my 3 minutes is up, but I just want to wrap it up by saying I'm concerned about the future of this town collapsing from things that are happening nationally, and we're not maybe looking at the right field. I want to protect every citizen in Hermann. I'm concerned about our future as a city. That's all I'm saying. Thanks.
Thank you. Lisa Haber.
I want to speak about, again, the issue of the slope easement, the city surrendering the slope easement. And I actually probably have more questions than comments. But I want to understand it. I went down today and I looked at that area, and I went to the library first, and I looked at that situation, and I measured. And I see that it's roughly 20 feet from that retaining wall to the road. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, if I can see where if you had to do any maintenance on the road, you have that 20-foot buffer. So I don't understand, I don't know the plans for the construction, so I don't know what it will look like down where the apartments are. But if I understand it, and I'm no engineer, the road that was a slope and there was a road put into it. And at the time, you were saying 9 times out of 10, those easements get surrendered. But this one wasn't, it didn't have an expiration. So my first question is just, is that for a reason? Is that a road that, when it was made, it was believed that it was going to need to be constantly, revisited, make sure it's stable? That's one of my questions. My other question is, it was said that maybe the developers would put a retaining wall that would stabilize the road. And I'm like, okay, if that's the case, down the road, years down the road, if that retaining wall starts to have structural issues, whose responsibility is it? Is it the city's to fix? Would it be the private owners to fix? When it comes to needing to do maintenance on that road, what's the gray area? How is that dealt with? And will it be contractually addressed? Will it be written into whatever agreement the city has with the developers? I don't know. And then And who will the developers or the owners be if down the road something like that happens? I'm just, again, a question, is the city looking at that or thinking about that? And then, of course, the other question is utilities. Are the utilities going to be protected, and are they, going to be stabilized and all that? And there's no danger that we're going to have disruption of service because something happens or whatever. And then the last question is what you were talking about earlier. In these other things with the budget, there is a need to have built in an amount of money just in case something happens or whatever. So the question becomes, why is there no money being asked for in exchange for the slope easement? That in case down the road there was a problem and you did have to do some work on that road, but you're now hemmed in, you don't have your easement, would you have to repurchase it to be able to have to go in there and do work? What if it fell on you to go and repair the retaining wall that's holding up the road? Why would you not ask for something? Why would you give that away and not ask to have some money to put in a fund that could be set aside, interest bearing, interest earning, so that down the road, if God forbid something had to happen, you would have a fund and you wouldn't be going to taxpayers, the residents saying, we got to pay for this, we got to fix this. These are just questions, and this isn't an accusation. I'm not trying to imply that people haven't done due diligence or anything like that. These are just genuine questions. That's it. Thank you so much.
Okay. Miss English, did you want to speak again? I had two cards
No,
up
that was
here.
a duplication.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because I
Yeah, but
had
thank you.
two cards. All right. I want to thank everybody. I'm just going to make one statement. What we're talking about, the city, I don't even think is considered the plans or anything. We haven't really seen the plans. This is about the plot, that we're talking about. So, I mean, that's all down the road as far as retaining walls and whatever they're going to do. So, all we're doing is approving the plat, or plot, however you pronounce it. So just, this is going to be a long, down the road event. So, anyway, I'll leave it at that.
But but isn't tonight, aren't you going to codify giving up the slope easement? Isn't that on the agenda tonight?
Easement?
To surrender?
Yes,
slope?
it's on the agenda tonight.
That's why I was speaking to it. That's
Yes.
all.
Okay. We'll move on to old business. Is there any old business? Any new business? Easy crowd. All right, we'll move on to ordinances then.
The first one on the agenda is Bill number 2024-26 for second reading, an ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a quitclaim deed to release the city of Hermann, Missouri's interest in a slope easement in the Bavarian Hills development.
So I would just like to interject here, just for clarification. I saw some emails going around social media that said the city is giving away taxpayer property. That's not our property. It is Mr. Bulmer's property, and he gives us the easement. So we don't own the property. We just have an easement. So we're not giving away anything. And that's why we didn't charge anything. It's not our property. It's Mr. Bulmer's property.
Okay, this is second reading. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll move to approve bill number 2024-26.
Motion
Second read.
Motion has been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
The next is Bill number 2024-28 for second reading, an ordinance authorizing and directing the mayor and city clerk of the city of Hermann, Missouri to approve and execute Low Subdivision Plat 5.
Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
So, I did, citizens of Hermann, I did, as I said, I sent your concerned email about the city's liability to our insurance risk management to review and the city attorney. So, again, our risk management pool of MIRMA, they reviewed all of your cases that you stated, and they said that none of those cases were heard in the 8th Circuit, in which and none of them were from Missouri. And so they said that the laws can be drastically different and the application of those laws would have no bearing on other states. So they weren't concerned about any of those lawsuits that had been successful. Again, they again reassured us that the legal issues would not be against the city. Unfortunately, it's between the property owner and the homeowner. It's not a city issue. So what I'd like to read this very short paragraph from. I'd like to read a very short paragraph from the executive director of Hermann, and he says this. And again, this is our insurance provider. Big picture. The city adopts codes and ordinances for the betterment of the community. When a developer presents plans which meet those adopted codes and ordinances, the city must approve them. Intervening in the process in an untimely manner and acting against the spirit of the adopted codes and ordinances will exposure the city to unwanted litigation and is not sound risk management practice. It will also taint the city's reputation with other developers, which can have long-lasting effects. So according to our insurance provider, they say we are in more legal jeopardy not to pass this and approve it than we are to approve it. And they're worried about us chasing off future developers because they think the city's too hard to work with if we would deny it as well.
All right. Anybody else?
No. Did they change the name of the P&Z on the plat? Did you change it?
The
Original?
chairperson, vice chairperson
Yes.
issue that you
Has
brought
been
up,
changed?
I haven't seen it
They know to change it for the final copy.
Okay, because this copy
before
is not.
recording.
For
Okay.
recording, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
That'll be on bid sheets.
All right. Do I have a motion to approve the second reading?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next is bill number 2024-29, an ordinance to rezone lots 77, 79, 81, 83, and 85 West 10th Street in the original town of Hermann at 910 Jefferson Street from R1 Single Family Residential to R3 Multiple Family Residential.
Okay, any discussion on this one? Second reading. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move 2024-29, second reading.
Motion's made. Do I have a second? Second. Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. We need to do 2024-32 first.
Yeah.
Switch
That's
it.
around.
Bill number 2024-32 for first reading, an ordinance to approve the execution of a contract renewal agreement with Tri-County Trucking and Excavating Inc. for solid waste collection and disposal.
So just by way of reminder, we have a potentially 6-year contract with Tri-County for their services. The first 3 years are all written into the initial contract with built-in rate increases. Then we have 3 additional individual years to continue on a 1-year basis if we agree on the percentage of their increase that year. So this year they are requesting a 3.5% rate increase. And so that is reflected in the contract, and then that is reflected in the next ordinance where it shows the rate increases. That is due to Tri-County's rate increase.
Everybody understand? If so, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve bill number 2024-32.
Motion has been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried, and we need to do that one a
If
second
you do the
time.
contract price, that'd be great.
For second reading, bill number 2024-32, an ordinance to approve the execution of a contract renewal agreement with Tri-County Trucking and Excavating Inc. for solid waste collection and disposal.
Second reading, do I have a motion to approve?
Move 2024-32, second read.
The motion has been made. Second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next, bill number 2024-31, an ordinance to amend sections 220-190, 220-200, 220-210, 220-220, and 220-205 of the municipal code, and prescribing a schedule of rates for refuse container leases for garbage and refuse collection and for limited service pickup.
Any discussion on this?
And these are including the 3.5%. We didn't change the billing or the maintenance or the recycling at all.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move bill number 2024-31 is first read.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. 33.
Next would be bill number 2024-33, an ordinance to approve an agreement for dispatch services between the City of Hermann and the Gaston County E911 Board.
So this is our long discussed project, and so basically what this contract will do will continue our current level of service as is. 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. When we have our 12 hours, we'll do our own mules, and it's $18,000 a year.
And is this automatically renewed every year? Or is it not?
Yeah, it says in here where it will automatically renew unless we ask for changes 60 days in advance.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. We need to do that one a second time.
Right, this bill number 2024-33 for second reading would be an ordinance to approve an agreement for dispatch services between the City of Hermann and the Gaston County E911 Board.
Do I have a motion to approve second reading?
Move 2024-33 second read.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
And then next is bill number 2024-34, an ordinance to elect changes under the Missouri Local Government Employees Retirement System.
Questions on this one?
I do. Under the, I guess, right now, the city pays the entire contribution for loggers, correct? And is that the way we're going to continue to do it, or will the employees be contributing?
No, it is not. It's all city the way we calculated it.
Okay, so is there any reason why we have it in the ordinance that,
That's language, I know, I looked at that too.
The wages
That's their
and salary.
language directly from loggers, word for word. I think that they're just saying that if you have that option, they're just covering all their bases.
but we're not considering that, so I don't know why we have it, we would have to have that in this ordinance.
I can check with loggers, like I said, they sent this. I can ask them if they don't need that language in there, just in case we delete it.
Well, they shouldn't, because when our old ordinance from 1989, 1041, it states that we went from contribution, which then is part of the employees paid part of the loggers, city paid the rest. Then they switched and said the city would pay the entire amount. It says nothing in here in the new ordinance.
She just sent us a sample and said, use this, so we can edit that out, can't we, without any trouble?
What words are we adding in now? I see the city is accepting the legal obligation to fund the elected benefits now and in the future.
I think it's important whereas
My concern is,
contributions.
Deduct from the wages or salaries of each employee member.
Yeah, the fourth whereas.
if any. But I guess my concern is, will a year from now you say, well, the ordinance says we can start charging the employees for part of their
Okay,
loggers?
I'm fine on checking on that.
We do have a couple ordinances that are on file already. The city does have a couple ordinances on file already.
About this?
about waters.
Yeah. This was their, you know how they send their recommended forms and it's already been improved a dozen different ways, but we can check it this way as well.
I'm just concerned.
So what's your recommendation for reading it?
What, do we have a deadline?
We need to read it along with, at the very least, we needed to read it along with the budget, so we could do it at the next meeting.
That would be my recommendation, rather than saying, well, we'll pass first reading subject to this change, let's just change it to get it where you want it and then read it twice.
Sure.
Or, well, we don't even need to read it twice, right?
We wouldn't have to.
You can do it,
'Cause we
whatever
have-
you guys
We have
want
two more
to do.
meetings
Yeah.
in June, so that's fine. Yep, we'll check on it.
We'll just table it.
Table it till the next meeting.
Thank you for noticing that. I don't want any future 15, 20 years from now to start deducting from employee paychecks.
Not without everybody's approval.
Exactly.
Okay, so much for that. We'll move on to the next.
Next would be bill number 2024-35, an ordinance to revise Hermann Municipal Code Section 710.020 sewer service rates.
And this is what I was just explaining about our rate bond covenant that we have to comply with every year. So this year we needed to come up with between $65,000 and $67,000 extra revenue. I feel like the formula that we've used in the past works really well, so I used it again where we put almost half of it in the base rate. So the base rate's going from $28 to $29.25 is the proposal, and then the remainder goes into the consumption, and that would go from 0.0052 to 0.0056 per gallon. That's going to get us somewhere between $66,000 and $67,000 in revenue as an estimate, and again, the increase per average residential customer would be $2.58 a month.
So how much is this going to generate for the whole year?
$67,000.
Okay, and you're saying that bond requirement went up that much?
Yes. We have to have $1 of revenue over our expenses every
Well,
year.
then the schedule I have is incorrect.
It's based on the budget, not on the schedule. It's based on budgeted expenses every year. And I tried, it came out almost identical to last year.
Well, you've raised it $1.25 plus, I think, 4 cents per gallon, 400 cents per gallon since 2019. And
Because the auditors.
21, 22,
Yeah.
23, 24.
The auditors
The same
was-
amount.
Yeah, the auditors wrote us up one year after you left for us not having complied with it. We weren't collecting enough revenue, so now every year we raise it, that's a small margin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not wrote up, they pointed it out to us. Maybe we did get wrote up. Anyway, it was definitely pointed out to us by auditors.
Well, I only came up with $48,000 that we would take in with the increases.
I can send you my spreadsheet.
But I used part of that as the old rate because it was not going into effect until, what was it? July, I think.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve bill number 2024-35.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed?
2 to 1. Okay. That's complete.
According to Missouri law statute, if you have something that is an ordinance, it only passes if you have a majority of the Board of Aldermen voting in favor of it. And so it's not just a majority of those present like a motion would be. You know, if you have a motion, 2 out of 3 is good. But if you have an ordinance, it's looked at as 2 out of 4, and so it doesn't pass. So with Jim gone, we'd have to reconsider it at the next meeting, I guess, and see how Jim votes on this.
Okay.
So these are the numbers worked into your budget as well, and so I thought we went over that in the budget workshop, so I didn't expect any problems, but.
All right. So that'll be on the next agenda then. All right, we'll move on to motions. Do I have a motion to approve minutes from last meeting?
So moved.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Invoices for payment. Motion to pay.
I move we pay the bills.
I have a motion to pay the bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Reappoint Deborah Smith to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Move to approve.
Motion is made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Reappoint Hannah James and Shad Walton to the Arts Council. You have a motion to approve that.
I move to approve.
Motion's made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. So carried. Hire Carter Levy and Kimber Hale as umpires, Lane Kramer as a field prep for the youth league. Motion to approve that.
So moved.
Motion's made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Vehicle for hire license renewal for the Wine Country wagon rides. Any questions on that one? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Motion's made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Special event application for St. Paul's UCC Church Rally Day with a worship, service, picnic, games, and music at the amphitheater on August 18, 2024. Have a motion to approve that.
I'll move to approve it.
Motion's made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Special event application for the Hermann Area District Hospital Auxiliary concert fundraising with requested parking blocked at the amphitheater September 7th, 2024.
Motion approved.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made. Seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have no reports. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion has been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for watching and those in attendance.
Yeah, I'm so glad you can't answer.